hug, a smile, and your favorite cake.
It is a heartfelt card, a thoughtful gift, which was just what you wanted, but had told no one. Or the memories, the love that is felt on that day. A birthday is something worth waiting all year long. For those of us standing here at the Capitol today, we know we have the possibility of many more to look forward to.
But for too many others, that glimmer of hope has gone out. It has been dimmed, it has been extinguished by an unexpected turn of fate. For some, that day began a day like any other. They were simply doing routine and mundane things of everyday life, such as walking home from the store, on the side of the street, like many of us done before, when we were young and simply enjoying a sunny summer day.
One was a kid who decided to play in a park and never returned home. Can you imagine the anguish felt by his mother? Another was a young woman traveling across the country, excited about embarking upon a new chapter in her life and starting a new job. We've all been there and known the joy and overwhelming excitement of moments like these. One man was doing what he felt like he had to do to make ends meet. Still another was just riding his bike, an excursion from which most people are expected to come home. Another man was simply jogging through a neighborhood to stay fit.
He just made the mistake of running through the wrong one. It is a mistake for which the cost should never be death. But for him that day it was. He paid a high price, the ultimate price. A young man in George's hometown also paid the ultimate price for a mistake that left many across the country and throughout the world reeling from the reality of what had happened, wondering, did the penalty fit the crime? Then there was George Floyd. He was simply sitting in a car when he was asked to exit the vehicle, one which I'm sure he assumed he would get back in and eventually return home. Instead, he was thrown to the ground as he lay there handcuffed face down with the knee dug into his back for 9 minutes and 39 seconds. He called out for his dead mother and begged for his life, hearing the now familiar call for help, "I can't breathe," until he drew his last breath and he lay lifeless on the Minneapolis streets. Try holding your breath for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, I dare you. That's a long time, and even when you're not pleading for your life. It's heartbreaking how many people have heard this story and that of. Unfortunately, too many and simply turned away or shrugged their shoulders in indifference because it was not their son, their daughter, their mother, their father, their uncle, their aunt, or their friend. As Gandhi, philosophy of nonviolence led his country's independence, he said, "The greatest of humanity is not in being human, but in being humane." The posture of so many is a false narrative and one of false security. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Today, loss may knock at someone's door, and tomorrow it could be yours. Too many people hear of this senseless and unnecessary killing of children, young men or women, and turn a deaf ear and go on with their life as if nothing happened.
The person whose life was lost is someone who is loved and will be missed. Those left behind remain heartbroken and may spend the rest of their lives grappling to the question, why? While families search and wait for answers, along with them, we will not forget. Because they lived, they were loved, and their lives mattered. So we remember them today on George Floyd's birthday. They may be gone from us, but they will never be forgotten.
So we are going to, so in closing, we say their names and we'd like for you to repeat, say their names. So I'm gonna start with all of us together. Say his name. Deontay Wright, April 11th, 2021, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Say his name. Alman Aubrey, February 23rd, 2020, Brunwich, Georgia. Say his name. David McAtee, June 1st, 2020, Louisville, Kentucky. Say his name. George Perry Floyd, May 25th, 2020, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Say his name. Dresjan Sean Reed, May 6, 2020, Indianapolis, Indiana. Say his name. Michael Brent Charles Ramos, April 24th, 2020, Austin, Texas. Say her name. Breonna Taylor, March 13, 2020, Louisville, Kentucky. Say his name. Manny Elijah Ellis, March 3rd, 2020, Tacoma, Washington. Say his name. Aaron Bailey, June 29th, 2017, Indianapolis, Indiana. Say his name. Shad Robertson, February 15th, 2017, Chicago, Illinois. Say her name. Deborah Daner, October 18, 2016, the Bronx. Say his name. Alfred Alongo, September 27, 2016, in El Cajon, California. Say his name. Terrence Crutcher, September 16, 2016, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Say his name. Terrence Liddell Sterling, September 11, 2016, Washington, D.C. Say his name. Corrine Gaines, August 1st, 2016, Randallston, Maryland. Say his name. Joseph Curtis Mann, July 11th, 2016, Sacramento, California. Say his name. Philando Castile, July 6th, 2016, Falcon Heights, Minnesota. Say his name. And I'm getting tired. But say his name. Elton Sterling, July 5th, 2016, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and one of us is going to take over.
Who killed all these people?
The police.
That's right. Say
Corey
that.
Lamar Jones, October 18th, 2015, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Say his name. Samuel Vincent DuBose, July 19th, 2015, Cincinnati, Ohio. Say her name. Sandra Bland, July 13th, 2015, Waller County, Texas. Say his name. Brendan K. Glenn, May 5th, 2015, Venice, California. Say his name. Freddie Carlos Gray Jr., April 19th, 2015, Baltimore, Maryland. Say his name. Walter Lamar Scott, April 4th, 2015, North Charleston, South Carolina. Say her name. Megan Hockaday, March 28th, 2015, Oxnard, California. Say his name. Tony Terrell Robinson, March 6th, 2015, Madison, Wisconsin. Say her name. Natasha McKenna, February 8th, 2015, Fairfax County, Virginia.
Say his name.
Jerame C. Reed, December 30th, 2014, Bridgeton, New Jersey. Say his name. Romaine Briggsborn, December 2nd, 2014, Phoenix, Arizona. Say his name. Tamar Rice, November 22nd, 2014, Cleveland, Ohio. Say her name. Tanisha N. Anderson, November 13th, 2014, Cleveland, Ohio. Say their name. Izelle Ford, August 11th, 2014, Florence, Los Angeles, California. Say their name. Michael Brown Jr., August 9th, 2014, Ferguson, Missouri. Say their name. Eric Gardner, July 17th, 2014, Staten Island, New York. Say their name. Dontre Hamilton, April 30th, 2014, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Say their name. Yvette Smith, February 16th, 2014, Bastrop County, Texas. Say their name. Miriam Iris Carey, October 3rd, 2013, Washington, D.C. Say their name. Jonathan Farrell, September 14th, 2013, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Say their name. Kimani Kiki Gray, March 9th, 2013, Brooklyn, New York City. Say their name. Kayla Moore, April 17th, 1971, Berkeley, California. Say their name. Chavez Carter, July 28th, 2012, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Say their name. Alicia Thomas, July 22nd, 2012, Los Angeles, California. Say their name. Rayshard Brooks, June 12th, 2020, Atlanta, Georgia. Say their name. Tony McDaniel, May 27th, 2020, Tallahassee, Florida. Say their name. John Elliott Neville, December 4th, 2019, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Say their name. Elijah McClain, August 30th, 2019, Aurora, Colorado.
Sterling Lapierre Higgins, March 25th, 2019, Union City, Tennessee. Say this name. Javar Ambler, March 28, 2019, August, Texas. Say their name. Aaron Bailey, June 29, 2017, Indianapolis, Indiana. Say his name. Tyree Woodson, August 2nd, 2014, Baltimore, Maryland. Say his name. Trevon Martin, February 26, 2012, Sanford, Florida. Say his name. Ayanna Monet Stanley Jones, May 6, 2010, Detroit, Michigan. Say her name.
We appreciate all of you for being here. This is something that we really don't want to do. We didn't want this George Floyd, his birthday is today. He would have been 48 years old. And because of George Floyd, because of his death, many things have changed in our society. Many things have been brought to the forefront that we can't ignore, that we should never ignore. No one up here wants to defund the police. However, what we do want are honest cops doing honest things and making sure that they protect the people. With that, we're going to We're going to send this tribute. It's from the state of Michigan, a special tribute. The family and friends of George Floyd Jr., let it be known that we extend our deepest condolences and respect to the family and many friends of George Floyd Jr. as we recognize his 48th birthday. Today we celebrate his life and the impact that he has had on our nation. Born on October 14, 1973 in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Floyd moved to Houston, Texas when he was 2 years old. While in high school, George was co-captain of his basketball team and played on the football team. He attended college at South Florida Community College on an athletic scholarship for football. In 1995, George transferred to Texas A&M University, Kingsville, where he played basketball. He returned to Houston later that year, where he pursued a career in the music industry. Following a difficult period in his life, and we all have them, George became more active in the Christian church in his community through various volunteer efforts. His rehabilitation was a point of praise for many in his life. In 2014, George moved to Minneapolis looking to continue his rehabilitation work in a new environment. He would continue to hold various security-related positions and was looking to pursue trade skill education. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit Minnesota in early 2020, George persevered through the difficult time. He contracted the virus, but fortunately recovered after a few weeks. Following this, he would continue to navigate the new normal under the pandemic. On May 25th, 2020, George Floyd was tragically taken from us in an act of police brutality that shook our nation and had a lasting impact. The murder of George Floyd Jr. was widely condemned across the country and reinvigorated discussions of systemic injustice that Black people continue to face. In Michigan, we grieved the loss of George and continue to grieve the unacceptable losses of all Black lives at the hands of police brutality. Let me just clarify that, because Black people are not the only ones who have been brutalized by bad police officers. Mass demonstrations across the country soon followed his murder, which urged justice for George, called on changes to how we conduct policing in this country, and recognized long-standing instances of racial bias that continue to go without accountability in our institutions. While we saw some changes to various police departments throughout the country, we continue to work every day for more equitable institutions in the memory of George and all those who lost their lives to police brutality. In special tribute, therefore, this document is signed and dedicated to offer words of praise as a memorial for the life and legacy of George Floyd Jr., a man who had a profound impact in the lives of his family, community, and this nation. We thank you for listening.
Who trains the police?
Take questions.
We need honest representatives.
All right, so let's hear it one more time for Representative Johnson for helping to organize this event and for being a leader in this space and for drafting this very special tribute, and to all of my colleagues who have joined us here today. My name is Yusuf Rabhi. I serve as the Democratic floor leader in the State House. And at this time, we would be happy to take just a couple of questions before we have to wrap up here today.
Who trains the police?
Who trains the police?
Who trains the police?
So that's something that we're actually trying to deal with right now as legislators. There's been a number of pieces of legislation that we've introduced because police training in this country is completely inadequate. And actually, I have some colleagues up here that may be wanting to address this issue as well. Are you interested? All right.
There's a standard by which all police are trained in the state of Michigan under MCOLS. It's probably a little outdated and it needs to be updated. So we've worked on legislation to improve that transparency to capture some of the capital that was lost during the George Floyd incident and others. Some communities have been begging for these changes, and I think the George Floyd incident created that energy necessary that it impacted the entire world, not just this city, not just the state, the entire world. So reforms are on their way. It's always a slow-moving process, but progress is a process.
Thank you for your question. And that was Representative Tyrone Carter from Detroit. Thank you for being here. We got one other question, yeah. Cynthia A. Johnson, State Representative.
I would like to know this. I have a son that's in prison right now, and he's been there since he was 20 years old, and now he's 40. Have a great school year. And we're here today, not just for him, for everybody who got a person that's in prison. We're here today to want to know, can you please just look at the flyers that we have printed up and take consideration into looking into this matter and passing it on to your colleagues? Would that be okay?
Yes, of course that would be okay. Absolutely.
Already printed up and everything. Only thing that we want to do is we want to outthink. We know it's up to the Lord to bring them home. But what we're trying to do is they put him in the wrong place, number one. It's never gonna drop all the way down to level 2. They got him in the area in St. Louis on the level 4.
We're gonna talk to you. We're gonna talk to you.
And if I could just say really quickly, I know that there's an event starting very soon here at noon, the End Mass Incarceration. It's a rally, and thank you for asking your question and for speaking on that. I think all of us up here today stand with you and support you, your relatives, all those of you that are here today to stand up for your relatives. I'll speak for myself when I say I believe that our criminal justice system is itself criminal in how it treats our citizens. When we mass incarcerate people, when we keep people in jail for life or for long periods of time, we ruin people's lives, we ruin people's careers, and there's false imprisonment that happens all the time. And so we are all, I think I can speak for everybody up here, we stand with you in the effort to end mass incarceration in this country, and thank you for asking your question. And with that, I think we're going to conclude today's event. Thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Thank you again to Representative Cynthia A. Johnson for leadership on this. We love you.
And I want to thank my colleagues. Colleagues, you are amazing. And starting with Representative Lori Stone, I want her to come up and say a couple of words, and then we'll just go down the line. Yes, you are. Get on over here. Just say hello.
Thank you. I represent the 28th House District, which includes Warren and Centerline. And we need to work on opening eyes, opening hearts, and opening minds. Thank you.
Representative Mary Kavanaugh, House District 10. That's all of Redford Township and a portion of Northwest Detroit. I agree with everything that was said here, and happy birthday, George.
Hello, my name is Rachel Hood. I serve the 76th House District in the city of Grand Rapids. I'm incredibly thankful for the leadership of Rep. Johnson. Michigan spends far too much money incarcerating people, and not enough resources or activity is happening to make sure we are releasing people and supporting them as they rebuild their lives. Very interested in changing this dynamic for the state. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I'm Representative Samantha Steckloff out of Farmington and Farmington Hills. I served on city council for 7 years in the city, and one of the things I was most proud of was being able to fund a police department, to fund a department that works with social workers and make sure that we know the houses we're going into with any type of mental disability or anything. I was proud to bring back $300,000 for my police department to work on a crisis management system. None of us want to defund the police. All of us want to fund it in a positive way to make change for the people of their communities.
Good morning, everybody. I'm State Representative Tyrone Carter. I represent District 6, which is downtown Detroit, Ecorse, and River Rouge. I bring a unique perspective up here. When I was a young man, I was a rascal, might have been a little lawbreaker. I joined the sheriff's department. Then I was a law enforcer. So now I'm a lawmaker. And we have an opportunity to change lives, change circumstances. But do the people in this building have the will? I have many bills about police accountability. I have many bills about productivity credits to incentivize prisoners to make safe conditions in these unsafe conditions. So I implore you all that are listening, pull my name up, look at the bills, and call other legislators to say, you know what? Why is this not being talked about? Why is it not being moved? Because it needs to change now. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Amos O'Neill from the 95th District in Saginaw County. Happy birthday to George Floyd. And I want to say good time make good sense. Good time makes good sense. Good time makes good sense.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Felicia Brayback. I get to represent the 55th District, which is part of the city of Ann Arbor and several of the surrounding townships. And I'm so excited to see friends here and the crowd from Washtenaw County. So excited to see you. And many of you may be surprised to know that here, or maybe you won't, but here in Michigan, we spend more in corrections than we do at our community colleges and higher ed. We need a lot more. That's exactly right, a lot more. We need to flip that. We need to spend more on our education than we do on incarcerating folks. As Rep. Carter said, there are so many different bills that so many of us are working on in criminal justice reform, and we need the will from folks on the other side of the aisle to actually make it happen. Thank you for standing with us and helping us to push this forward. We are grateful for your partnerships.
Thank you.
Hi, I am State Representative Tanisha Yancey. I serve the 1st House District, which is made up of Grosse Pointe Woods, Grosse Pointe Shores, Harper Woods, and the northeast side of Detroit. I mean, I can run through that part real quick, but now I'll slow down. I am also a licensed attorney by trade, and I came to the legislature because of criminal justice reform. Many of you may have already heard my testimony. I have 2 felonies, 2 misdemeanors, and was told that I would never, ever pass the bar exam to become an attorney. I am an attorney. Thank you. I am right, and now I'm a lawmaker. So I was a lawyer, and then now I'm a lawmaker. And so one of the things that I came here to do was to help to reform the expungement laws and help to reform our criminal justice system as a whole. And for the first time ever, since I was 17, I'm able to get my own record expunged. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it's important that we have representation here of people who knows what you've gone through or knows what your family have gone through, because it's not always, you're not gonna meet a person like me often that can say that they've served on both sides of the criminal justice system. So I appreciate you and I applaud you for making sure that you stand up and stand tall for the people who you love. And we will always be here. I hold prison calls. I haven't done them as much as I did during COVID because we're back at work now, but we were doing prison calls so that we could check in on inmates to see what was going on in the prisons. That's me. That's me, so that we can hold DOC also accountable for the things that they're doing to the people that we love that are incarcerated. So keep up the good work. Thank you for coming out, and we will, yep. Yancey, Y-A-N-C-E-Y. Yep, take care.
Okay, so we're about to wrap up right now. We're going to do one thing, and we need your help to do it. Promise? Promise you're going to help us? We're going to sing Happy Birthday. 1, 2, yep, that one. 1, 2, 3, go. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Y'all don't, wait a minute. Y'all don't know Stevie Wonder. Wait a minute. They messed up already. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. We have to stop the killing. Somebody's son is no longer here. Somebody's daughter is no longer here. We must stop the killing. George Floyd, we love you. One last thing in regards to someone came into my office today to talk about voting and people who are in jail who don't have a conviction, but so often they're not allowed to vote while they're in the jail without a conviction. And that there is only about 7 counties who actually have an ordinance in place to address that. That's got to change. That's got to change. That's got to change. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. And now the next meeting is yours. Bye, everybody.
So yeah, all of that stuff sounds good. They can sit up here and talk about Gandhi. They can sit up here and talk about MLK. They can sit up here and talk about all the stuff they want to sit up here and talk about. But actions is what produces solid words. If your words are without actions, they're just empty words. So they can sit up here and call these people's names, but you see how they didn't want to talk about who killed them. I had to question that. And then they want to whisper the police. So pay attention, man. Pay attention.